going on, guys? How you doing? Now we're gonna push some buttons today, but I think it's a conversation worth having, right? I think it's a conversation worth having. Here we go. Oh, this guy truck's making the world angry again. So anyways, good to see you guys. Last video we talked about the not letting trucking companies walk all over you and just not accepting their bad behavior towards truck drivers, right? And yeah, some of y'all called me out on some of this stuff, and you should. Hey, you know, what did you do to actually stand up for yourself? This guy trucks nothing. I took the load. I didn't get my home time. I did absolutely nothing. Yeah, so I didn't really, obviously, I know I didn't stand up for myself, but I'm in such a weird spot in life right now that I don't know how I'm supposed to be honest with you. It's like I don't have a choice but to accept companies' bad behavior. Maybe. I don't know. Do I just keep doing the same thing over and over? Like keep quitting jobs until I find like that perfect job? But do I, which we know don't exist, right? But do I also stand by my principles and say, hey, there's things I won't accept here in trucking, right? So a few of y'all called me out. You were right to do so, but I felt like I didn't know what to do about it. No, I didn't get my home time. Still mad about that, obviously. Still dealing with the trauma. And we're out here working without a word said about it from the company, because they have already moved on and they don't care anymore. I don't know, man. I don't really know, but the point of the video was we've got to stop accepting bad behavior from companies and how they treat truckers, right? And mostly what I meant by that is people defending the behavior and saying, hey, that's just trucking, that's the way it is. Or, you know, making excuses for why companies don't care about their truck drivers, which is very frustrating to me when people do that. But I mean, the general premise does still stand, I guess, from you guys that called me out. No, I didn't stand up for myself, and I don't know what to do about it. I have no idea. Do I quit again? Probably not. I'm just not in a position to do that. I've quit too many jobs. That's all there is to it. So hey, that's kind of where we're at. But I want to talk about something that hey, you know, this is gonna upset a few people, but that's just, I guess, the way it is. Because if you're not upsetting a few people in life, then you're definitely not standing up for yourself, and you are just accepting. I had a point with that, but I forgot what it was. There were a couple comments on the last video about the reason that trucking is so bad is because they took our gerbs. Remember South Park, where a bunch of hillbillies run around mad about the immigrants taking their jobs, right? And yeah, that tends to still happen, and that's a real thing. But the reason, according to some commenters, and I want to be clear with you guys, I'm not attacking you as a person, but I am challenging your idea a little bit, and it's up to you to decide if you can handle that, if you can have your ideas challenged. I don't know you as a person. And I do make fun of things though, so you might get made fun of a little bit. Sorry, but the reason that trucking is as bad as it is because the immigrants are here taking the jobs of the truckers. That's degrading our occupation. And I gotta be honest, I'm not sure I really understand that argument, because there's a lot more at play than the immigrants are showing up just taking our jobs. That's not really how all this works. And I think if you you know, make such a basic argument as it's the immigrants' fault, then you're failing to see what's actually going on in the world. Conspiracy theories from this guy trucks. Just kidding. Just kidding. But I think there's a lot more at play than it's just the immigrants are showing up taking our jobs, and that's why the standards of the trucking industry, or any industry for that matter, have dropped off. That's what I think. I'll attempt to explain why. So, first of all, me being a goddamn American, isn't that what America's supposed to be? The beacon of hope for everybody in the world. The blueprint of how a country should be, goddammit. The land of opportunity. The home of the brave. The land of the free. The melting pot. That's what we claim to be, right? That's what we say we are. If not for immigration, none of us would be here. Well, most of us wouldn't be here. But if not for immigration, this would be a completely different place. But I don't know if that whole marketing campaign is over. Are we done promoting it as the beacon of hope in the world? Because if we are, then maybe that's where the miscommunication is coming in. But that's what we were told. This is the land of opportunity and everybody should come here. Give us you're sick, you're tired, you're poor, whatever the hell it says on the Statue of Liberty, right? And now the most American of Americans hate the idea of people coming to America to pursue opportunity in the self-proclaimed land of opportunity. And to me, that doesn't make a whole lot of goddamn sense. I thought that's what we were selling this place as. That marketing campaign must be over. We must be done with that propaganda, I guess, because for any of us living here, yeah, there's a lot of opportunity out there. Sure, but this whole goddamn system is rigged and we all know it. We all fucking know it. But we all go along with it like this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in the world. But I thought that's what we were based on. I thought that's what we were trying to do. Shouldn't we be promoting immigration if that's what this country is all about? Giving everybody in the world opportunity? I thought that's what we were doing here. That's what I was told. That's what I was told. But more importantly than that, in my opinion, when we start getting into the immigration debate, it's because we're not really paying attention to what's going on, and that's an easy thing to attack. Immigration. Immigrants coming over, taking our jobs. It's a very easy thing to attack. And I think the biggest downfall of the trucking industry is deregulation. That's where really all this stuff starts to come into play. There was the golden age of trucking where people made good money, and maybe there's parts where the government was way too involved, but there's parts that really, really fucked this industry. So when we go back to how the industry was, there's probably a name for it. When it was regulated by the government, there were good points, which, hey, we don't move freight for less than this amount in this country, and that's just the way it is. If you can't provide that amount, then you don't deserve to be in business, and you can't move freight. One of the really bad things about the industry being regulated was, from my understanding of it, is you could only move a specific commodity between specific points to even have your authority as a trucking company. If somebody else was moving that commodity in that specific spot, between those two locations, you couldn't do it. You weren't allowed to do it. So that seems like it's a little too much government overreach, right? Doesn't promote competition at all. But the whole part about, hey, you know what? If you're gonna do business in this country that involves transportation, you're gonna have to pay the cost to do it. Truckers made good money, and it was considered a very middle-class career, at least, to be a truck driver. It is not that way anymore. As a matter of fact, it's damn hard to make a living out here sometimes, especially when you're paid by the mile and people got you sitting around. Now, I don't seem to have that problem too much these days, sitting around, but I do have the problem of them not giving my goddamn home time. Still got that as a problem. But anyways, back to the fucking point. Deregulation came along in 1980. I believe that was Jimmy Carter was president. I was trying to give myself some history lessons earlier, and even though there were some good parts about it, there were some, it was called like the Federal Motor Carrier Act or the Motor Carrier Act of 1980, something like that. You guys can feel free to look it up. But the unfortunate part of what happened is there was no longer any rules or restrictions on how much it cost to move freight around this country rather. And what happened immediately after that was a race to the bottom to be the cheapest carrier out there that there was. And who got fucked in this deal? Independent owner operators. That's who, because if you've got one truck, you can only afford to cut your profit margin so much before you just can't afford to be in business anymore. But if you've got 5,000 trucks, you can keep on cutting that profit margin until your competition no longer exists because they went out of business. And in my opinion, this gave birth to the mega carrier. Yeah, all these companies out here, these big companies, Swift and Prime and whoever, right? All these big companies, because they were able to stomp out their competition because they simply had more trucks than everyone else. And I believe, like I said, that started the downfall of the owner-operator, the independent truck driver out here. And in hindsight, it seems like it was a very, very bad fucking move, right? Trying to collect my thoughts a little bit on that as we go through this. But that ended up being, when I look back on it, a dagger to the heart of the trucking transportation industry. Now, a lot of old truck drivers talk about like the glory days of trucking, how great things used to be. That's what they're talking about. They're talking about when there was some goddamn regulation in this business and you could make a good living doing it. And that is gone now. That's completely gone. So as you started the race to the bottom to get more and more trucks for the people that had the trucks and the money to keep expanding their empires, you were able to pay less and less wages to truck drivers, definitely lowering the quality of truck drivers in the market. Because, hey, anybody with some sort of intelligence might be able to find something else to do when they find their wages going lower and lower. Not me. I'm 10 years into trucking. I'm obviously too dumb to do anything else. That's why I'm still here. If I knew of any other way to make the money I make in a truck, I probably wouldn't be in a truck. It wouldn't make a whole lot of fucking sense now, would it? Sense of adventure, that's gone. Been doing it 10 years. I've seen it all. I've done it. I don't need to drive around the country anymore and be excited that I'm in a new part of the country. I mean, it's fucking boring if you want my opinion. Which is why I'm here, why you're here, I guess, because you want my opinion. So I think deregulation was a really bad move, and then there's all the union busting and all that kind of stuff. Sorry guys, but unions overall are beneficial to the working class. I don't know why so many working class people are against their own interests, but yeah, you pay some union dues, sure, right? $12 a paycheck, whatever it might be. I don't know. You pay some union dues, and then you've got collective bargaining, which means when a company is trying to dick around their drivers, then y'all just shut the goddamn thing down. Don't we always talk about trucker strikes? We need someone in charge of that, because right now if you try to do a trucker strike, you got dipshits arguing about dumb shit that doesn't even matter to any of us. Fucking, I'm striking because fucking this Love's I'm at doesn't have a Wendy's in it, and I think every Love should have a Wendy's. Jesus fucking Christ, bro. Can we talk about what really fucking matters? And because you don't have really, you know, a group of people at the top studying and figuring out what is actually wrong with the trucking industry, we got shitheads out here that want to strike because over dumb shit, right? There's legitimate reasons to strike, to send a message to the country that we fucking don't need to take your shit anymore. But we're never going to, because we've been too busy working against our own interest and busting up unions and fucking talking about fucking we need to deregulate the industry that created the golden era of trucking. We need that to go away. We fucking hate that. We don't like golden things, apparently. I don't fucking know. But this race to the fucking bottom was absolutely detrimental to trucking. It was a very, very bad thing overall. Some good things might have happened, but overall, terrible. Terrible. And that's how we end up in the situation we're in today. Collecting my thoughts again, but just constantly on and on about you know, this industry. One of the biggest fucking things that like gets on my damn nerves is we look to our government like they're supposed to give a shit about us. I don't know, do I do a flat bill right now? Like, hey, mother truckers, today we found out that the federal government still isn't doing anything to care about truckers. And mother truckers, what is your thoughts in the comments, mother truckers? Tell me what I should think about this. No shit, the federal government isn't doing anything about truckers. You think they give a fuck about us or about anybody from the working class whatsoever? Politicians do not give a shit about you as an individual. No fucking shit. They're not doing anything to help truckers. This is not breaking news. They don't give a fuck about us. Who do the politicians give a fuck about? Their donors. The people that are giving them money to keep them in power. That's who. Who's the people that have the most money to throw at politicians to keep them in power. It's not me. It's not you either. It's companies, businesses. I bet you could follow the money from all these major trucking companies, campaign contributions, and find out exactly who it is that they're keeping in power. While they have us shitheads sitting here arguing amongst ourselves, they're specifically designing a system where we will never have any kind of power whatsoever, and we're just going to sit here and bitch about how nothing ever goes in our benefit when we should have known that the whole fucking time. Now, we go back to trucking companies who have the money, who obviously make campaign contributions. I wish I would have looked that up. That would have been very useful information for my argument. Wouldn't it have been? But I didn't look it up. I wouldn't even know how to look it up if I'm being honest with you. But why would a trucking company hire an immigrant to take your job? Because they know they can get away with it, right? Now, I personally don't have a problem with immigration. I don't fucking care either way, right? It's these dirty ass companies all over this country, regardless of what industry you work in, that are very, very much interested in hiring somebody showing up in this country with nothing to their name, chasing the American dream. And why would they do that? Because they know they can pay them less money than they'll pay you. I don't think it's the fault of the immigrant taking your job. It's the continued race to the bottom to pay the lowest wages to anybody who will take the job. And when somebody comes along that will take the job for less money than you'll do the job for, well, it's just business, baby. You're out on your ass, right? Of course you are. Of course you are. God, then you get into the owner-operator side of it, right? The deregulation also has us in the situation where we're in with the spot market, where every load you want has been double, triple, and quadruple brokered till someone's making the money, but it's not your ass, that's for damn sure. You couldn't just go off and get your own authority, get your MC number when this industry was regulated. You couldn't. I may be talking out my ass, but that's what I understood from what I was reading. If you were trying to cover a specific lane, you only could get your MC if you were able to prove that that lane was not being serviced already. Sure, that to a point does get in the way of an independent person starting their own company. I understand that. But the opposite effect was every shithead out there was able to get an MC number. And then they get their MC number, they go to a broker, they go get a load, right? And then they skim a bunch of money off that load and they repost it to the load board, where some shithead with his MC number skims the money off of that, and then he reposts it to the load board, and there's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people involved that never did anything with the damn load except skim some money off of it and sell it down the river to the next guy for less fucking money. And then a lot of people say, well, you know, these immigrants come over and they live 30 of them to a house, and then they can run for less money because they ain't got to work as hard because they're splitting the rent payment 30 different ways amongst other people, and they got 3 guys in the truck, so the truck never stops moving. Yeah, that's the failure of our country. That's the failure of this industry. If that's what it takes to survive here, it's not the fault of the immigrant. It's the fault of the people in charge that have ran this entire thing, country or industry, into the ground so fucking much that that's what it takes to survive out here, you know? And you just allow it to continue. There is no regulation of this. This is why you get like the Russian companies around Chicago that fucking know every trick in the book. Every trick there is in the book to get around the rules and regulations, and they can just do whatever the fuck they want. They got ELDs in the truck, but they'll just wipe that slate clean and just keep that truck rolling. ELDs only affect the honest companies, all right? And even a lot of dishonest companies are still following the ELD path, right? Are still keeping up with it. But there are some companies, they got ELDs in the truck. Yep. They've also got one driver in the truck carrying 2 IDs, running it as a team truck, logged into the 2 different things. That's a thing. They also got a guy sitting over in Russia that you just call him and say, hey, I ran out of hours. And he goes, okay, you've got 70 hours now. Good luck out there. And these guys are not getting shut down at all. They're not being regulated in any kind of fashion whatsoever. That is when you open the door. Like I said, I don't have a problem with immigration. It's not really a thing I concern myself with. But you open the door to a lot of people coming in from other countries, undercutting what you're able to do the job for, and they do it with underhanded tactics that now devalue what you're worth as a truck driver. And we're so goddamn interested in this country about, hey, we got to make everything cheaper for the consumer. The consumer. Who is the consumer, guys? It's still us, the workers. We're still the consumer, right? We got to make everything cheaper, everything cheaper, everything cheaper. How the fuck is that working out for us now, right? Now everything's expensive as fuck, and our wages have dropped. Ain't that beautiful? Ain't that fucking brilliant? I mean, trucking wages aren't the worst thing in this country, not even close, right? But like, you ever wonder why I went out back into the IT field for a while, and then I was like, fuck this, I'm getting back in a truck. I mean, you've got guys out there wanting 10 years of experience and a master's degree, and they're like, and we pay $12 an hour, but here's the good fucking news, every Friday we have a pizza party. Oh yeah, we have a pizza, 2 slices. Now we don't need to, 3 slices is too many, right? This whole damn country's a shithole right now. The whole fucking thing sucks. There's no money to be made. Everybody's fucking struggling just to figure it out. Maybe not everybody, but a lot of people are fucking struggling. And it's not the fault of immigration. Our country's letting us down. They're doing absolutely nothing to help us out. As long as they get their tax payment off us, we have done everything we can to be useful to them. They give a fuck if we live a good life. And it doesn't matter what party. It doesn't matter which party. Like, all this shit about, oh, we care about you as citizens and we want to do the best for you is all smoke and mirrors. It's all bullshit. And it doesn't matter which party we're talking about. I'm so done with fucking voting and giving a shit about political parties. I'm fucking over it. I can't take it anymore. Can't fucking take it. It's all fucking absurd. So anyways, I hope I made sense. I got myself a little bit worked up about all these things, but I don't believe that when things like this happen, when your wages, no matter what industry you work in, get undercut because somebody came from another country and will do it cheaper than you, I don't believe it's the fault of that person. I believe it's very, very much the fault of our system. That's people being exploited, right? Hey, we know this guy's coming in from whatever country and he really needs to make some money, so let's pay him as little as possible. Let's exploit that person, put them in a truck, work them to the damn bone, then we can get rid of that American that costs 2 or 3 times as much money. And you know what that means at the end of the day? We get to keep more money. Because that's what the people on the top deserve, right? They deserve to keep more of the money while the rest of us continue to spiral further and further into crippling debt that we'll never, ever recover from. Fuck yeah. Land of opportunity, baby. What a great place. What a fucking fantastic place. Hey, you know what? That's just my opinion. Try to keep it civil, guys. You are allowed to disagree with me. You are. You're not allowed to attack me. I do not accept that around here. So, you're allowed to disagree. We had a few back and forths in the last video where the two, I think one of them I didn't respond to, but the other guy that I talked to, both of us were respectful to each other, expressed our opinions nonetheless, and went on about our business. We're allowed to do that here. So I encourage you to do so. But to wrap it all up, I think this is more so a failure of our system than it has to do with some person from a third world country coming to America, chasing the opportunity that we all thought existed here. Just one guy's thoughts. See you next time.